They got to be better. The problem is, too, it's not just that. It's that their record is what it is. No other guys are hurt. Nobody else is performing. So now the magnifying glass is out, and you see Soto go into a little slump, and it's like, oh, my God, we can't survive this. Or Bichette's still not, getting acclimated in New York. Sometimes it takes a full season. We saw that with the best of them, with Carlos Beltran. Piazza, it took a little while. Even Soto a year ago took a little while. And then you say, like, well, why would you pitch to Soto? Well, if you pitch to Soto or you don't pitch to Soto, then you have to have Austin Slater maybe beat you out of the three-hole. I mean, all due respect, but the platoons here, they're dropping. You look at the lineup, and everybody's like, how do the Mets have the worst record in baseball? Well, the guys who they're paying big money to aren't producing, and the guys right below them, 3, 4, 5, and so on, guys that arguably shouldn't be in the big leagues.
Well, guys that were released by the Marlins and the Athletics, you're picking up scraps. What I don't understand is why you didn't have somebody that was more capable already on your roster that you could go to on an injury for a 2-week period of time. This has the feeling of John Mayberry Jr. back in the day, or an Austin Jackson when he was hitting in the middle of the line. That's what Slater is hitting third. I mean, that just isn't.
Even Eric Valent put up bigger numbers.
Eric Valent, thank you. Hey, little Eric Valent there, buddy. I mean, let's go way back. I mean, come on, you get me going there, yeah. But that's the problem, is even Eric Valent, he was like a fifth outfielder during that period of time. And, I think that's a huge part of it. It's like, these guys were out there available for nothing for a reason. They're past their prime, or not everyday players. And I know, in the essence, they're like, well, that's all we got, or it's better than what we have. I'm not so sure it's better than what they have. I mean, you could go to the minor leagues, I feel like, and get something like that.
Would you rather than platoon in that spot, Dave, or just go with your best guys in this particular case?
Well, I mean, I would think you have to go with the best guys. I mean, you're looking at the corner infield spots for them. They have like 2 of the lowest WARs in the league at both those positions, which is ridiculous. I mean, Bichette was supposed to solve it at third base, but now he's had to move it at shortstop at this point. And first base, which Pete Alonso was not good enough defensively to handle, has been a catastrophe, both ways. The other part about it with the platoon, we saw that with Ibanez over the weekend. He couldn't field the position. So we went into this season thinking run prevention. Then we had to think about getting offense. So we're sacrificing the defense to do it in one-run games. They're just overthinking everything to this point, and it keeps backfiring on them. So instead of sticking with Beatty at a position he can play at third base, they get caught up in the platoon stuff, and now it just takes them down a rabbit hole where they can't dig themselves out of. So it's a mess. It's been a mess.
Yeah, and I think this discussion is all the more glaring and painful when we look what's going on the other side of town, when the Yankees are able to start the season with Jason Dominguez in the minor leagues. The Mets would kill for Jason Dominguez, right? And some of the other roster decisions, the roster surplus the Yankees have, as opposed to what's going on in Flushing.
But even with the Mets ideally would have had Tauchman as being a viable backup. They would have had Jared Young. You tilt for those guys in the lineup right now. Okay, but they're hurt. They're not there. So forget even roster coming in. Right now, you can't justify starting Austin Slater because he's supposed to hit left-handed pitching. He's supposed to. Well, he hasn't. Bo Bichette's supposed to be better. He hasn't been. Like, I don't know why would you do that? Just play your best players. Now, it probably wouldn't have been good enough anyway with Beatty or with Vientos, but I certainly don't need to see Austin Slater or Ibanez just because those guys are supposed to hit left-handed pitching. That makes no sense to me.
No, I agree with you, and I think even going back to when he pinch hit for Melendez, when he was swinging the bat well because the lefty came up because he's got a righty on the bench. Like, usually, in Mendy, I was a little surprised by that because he's had a good feel over the years. Like, just go with a guy who's hot and swing the bat well, even if it is a lefty. Like, Melendez can hit lefties, at least he has in the past. And I know he's not the great player, but in that particular game, what he had 3 hits that day?
Right, and you're batting him third.
I mean, what are we doing?
I mean, you have to have faith in the guy you're putting in the third spot that he's going to be able to produce, not just swap him out for an Andy Slater at that point.
Where are we at with possible solutions? I know it's still early, but like something has to be done.
Well, I mean, let's start internally. Like, I think this is the time when you come back from a road trip like this, you go through, you've seen that this isn't working. This is the time that you end up looking at somebody internally, and there's a couple of guys that are at least on the radar, is what I was told, and that you got to look at, from bringing up and maybe giving you a little bit of a burst of an energy. And the guys that are swinging the bat well at the moment, obviously A.J. Ewing, who I brought up to you before, he's their best guy. He's going to be their best guy. He's only 21 years old, but he's off to a really good start in AAA. He's having a good season overall. That, to me, would be an easy one to bring up and put him in the outfield. Clifford got off to a really slow start in April, had a high strikeout rate, but in May, he's been doing better as well. He hit a long home run yesterday. And Morabito is a guy that could play all 3 outfield positions. So you could do Morabito and put him in center, move Benj to right, which is why I don't know why Benj isn't more in right field anyway. Just I think he's more comfortable there, and let him swing the bat and put, if you at minimum put Taylor back in center field. That's his natural position too. It feels like that's out of alignment while we're at it. So I think though internally those are one or two of those guys they're going to consider bringing up. And hopefully we'll see something over the next day or two. But I would be surprised if there isn't something because of Ibanez and Slater. They're not getting it done.
I don't know. These guys just don't really have a track record even at the minor leagues. I mean, Ewing has, what, a dozen games at AAA at this point? So they've already lost faith in some of their top prospects. Like Carson Benj wasn't even playing against left-handers at some point. So, they've already lost faith in Beatty. He was a guy that was a top prospect, too. So I understand trying to bring in some new blood here and try and listen, they don't have a lot of options here. But I don't know. I mean, to bring up those guys in this type of situation, it's not exactly a recipe for success.
Right, but here's what I do know. They cannot keep doing the same thing. We said this weeks ago, and here we are again. Like, we're approaching Memorial Day. You want to sit and
if Soto and Bichette aren't going to hit Sal, you're not going to come out of this anyway.
All right,
so
but then I'd rather see the young guys anyway. Let them learn at the big league level.
That's for August, typically.
Not this year.